Ladies and gentlemen, let us take a moment to strip away the veil of civility, to examine the subtle yet piercing behaviors that reveal when someone truly doesn't care about you. The truth often hides in plain sight, masked by empty words and feigned gestures. Today we unmask it. First, observe the listener who doesn't listen. You speak, you pour out your thoughts, your emotions, your stories, and they nod. Yet their eyes are vacant, their response is mechanical. It's as if your words dissipate before they reach their consciousness. These are the people who are present in body but absent in spirit. Their indifference is deafening. Second, notice the promises that are made but never kept. A caring person values their word. They understand the weight of a promise. Those who do not care. Their promises are feathers in the wind, drifting aimlessly, never landing where they are meant to. Third, look for the dismissers. They minimize your struggles, trivialize your triumphs, and make you feel smaller than you are. To them, your pain is an inconvenience, your joy an annoyance. They act as if your life's highs and lows are mere disruptions to their own self-absorbed existence. Fourth, beware of the takers. They come into your life not to give but to take. Time, energy, love, they drain it all without reciprocation. They are emotional parasites, leaving you emptier with every interaction. Fifth, pay attention to the absent. When you need them most, they vanish like shadows at noon. Crisis reveals character, and their character is one of avoidance, neglect, and indifference. Sixth, note the exploiters. These are the people who seek to use you as a means to an end. Your value to them is transactional, calculated, and disposable. They wear a mask of friendship, but beneath it lies a cold, calculating indifference. Seventh, beware of those who withhold. Whether it's affection, support, or validation, their refusal to give is not accidental, it's intentional. They know what you need, and they choose to deny it. And finally, observe the envious. Instead of celebrating your successes, they feel threatened by them. They won't say it outright, but their backhanded compliments, their subtle sabotage, betray the truth they don't want to see you thrive. Let these observations serve not to breed resentment, but to bring clarity. See these behaviors for what they are: red flags. They are not to be ignored, for ignoring them is to compromise your own dignity. Indifference to listening is one of the most glaring signs of someone who doesn't truly care about you. It's an act of passive rejection, a subtle yet cutting way of showing that your thoughts, feelings, and experiences hold little to no value in their eyes. This behavior often goes unnoticed at first because it doesn't always present itself in overtly harmful ways. Instead, it manifests in the small, quiet moments of disinterest, where their attention wanders, their responses become shallow, and their focus drifts elsewhere. Picture a conversation where you're sharing something deeply personal, maybe a fear, a hope, or a memory that carries weight for you. The person nods, they murmur the occasional, or I see, but their eyes betray them. They glance at their phone, stare off into the distance, or appear eager to interject with something unrelated. In that instant, it becomes clear that they're not truly present with you. It's not just inattentiveness, it's an unwillingness to engage with you on a meaningful level. This lack of listening isn't merely about ignoring words, it's about disregarding the person behind them. When someone cares about you, they listen not just to what you say, but to what you mean. They catch the subtle changes in your tone, notice the hesitations that hint at deeper feelings, and respond with empathy. They value your voice even when it speaks of things they may not fully understand or agree with. When someone doesn't care, none of this happens. Instead, their listening becomes performative, a hollow act done out of obligation rather than genuine interest. This indifference can also reveal itself in their inability to recall details about your life. Someone who doesn't care won't remember the names of your friends, the challenges you're facing, or the things that light you up inside. To them, these details are unimportant, mere background noise in a narrative they've never invested in. Over time, this lack of attention creates a growing chasm, a sense of loneliness that can be more painful than outright hostility. Moreover, indifference to listening erodes trust. Conversations are not just exchanges of words, they are acts of vulnerability. By choosing not to listen, the indifferent person sends a clear message: your vulnerability does not matter to them. This realization can sting deeply, leading to feelings of rejection and invalidation. It's a subtle form of neglect, but its impact can be profound. When you're met with indifference repeatedly, it becomes harder to open up, harder to believe that your voice carries weight. Ultimately, someone's willingness or lack thereof to listen speaks volumes about their priorities. People who don't listen aren't just failing to hear, they're failing to care. They may offer surface-level politeness, but beneath that veneer lies a disregard for the connection you're trying to build. Recognizing this behavior is essential because it signals a deeper truth about the nature of the relationship. Indifference, after all, is not just a lack of attention, it's a lack of respect. Broken promises are a hallmark of someone who doesn't genuinely care about you. Promises, whether big or small, are commitments that signify trust, respect, and accountability. When someone repeatedly makes promises but fails to keep them, it reflects a lack of regard for your time, expectations, and emotions. Their words become empty vessels void of sincerity and meaning. Over time, this behavior erodes the foundation of trust in any relationship. A promise, by its very nature, carries weight. It's a verbal contract, a declaration of intent that requires follow-through. When someone says they will do something, whether it's showing up for an important event, calling when they said they would, or supporting you in a time of need, you naturally take them at their word. It's an implicit understanding that the promise maker values you enough to fulfill what they've said. When they fail to honor those commitments repeatedly, it's not just about the unfulfilled action, it's about what that failure signifies. It suggests that their words are disposable, that your needs or expectations are secondary to their convenience. The damage caused by broken promises often goes beyond disappointment. It introduces uncertainty into the relationship. You begin to question whether you can rely on them at all. This uncertainty creates an emotional imbalance where you feel the need to second-guess their intentions, always preparing for the possibility that they might let you down again. This lack of reliability can leave you feeling unsupported, as if you are navigating the relationship on unstable ground. What makes this behavior even more troubling is that it often comes with excuses or justifications. The promise breaker might say, "I was too busy, I forgot," or "It wasn't a big deal." These excuses, while sometimes valid, reveal a deeper truth: they didn't prioritize you. A caring person, even when they face obstacles, will communicate openly, explain their circumstances, and seek to make amends. Someone who doesn't care, however, will downplay the impact of their broken promise, dismissing your feelings as overly sensitive or unwarranted. Broken promises also reveal a pattern of self-centeredness. Such individuals often make commitments in the moment, driven by a desire to appease or avoid conflict without any real intention of following through. They prioritize their immediate comfort over the long-term integrity of the relationship. This self-serving mindset becomes evident when promises are consistently made without consideration of their feasibility or the consequences of breaking them. Furthermore, the emotional toll of broken promises cannot be understated. It chips away at your confidence in the relationship, leaving you feeling undervalued and unimportant. Each unfulfilled commitment becomes a reminder of their disregard for your expectations. Over time, this repeated pattern can lead to frustration, resentment, and emotional distance. Ultimately, broken promises are more than just isolated incidents of forgetfulness or oversight. They are indicators of a deeper disregard for the trust and respect required to maintain a meaningful connection. They reflect an unwillingness to invest in the relationship and a lack of consideration for the impact their actions have on you. Dismissing your experiences is one of the most subtle yet damaging behaviors exhibited by someone who doesn't genuinely care about you. It is a form of invalidation that undermines your feelings, thoughts, and achievements, often leaving you feeling diminished and unworthy. This behavior can manifest in various ways, from trivializing your struggles to overshadowing your successes, and it carries with it an inherent lack of empathy and respect. When you share your struggles with someone, you are often seeking understanding, support, or simply a listening ear. To dismiss these struggles is to deny the validity of your emotions. This might happen through phrases like, "It's not that big of a deal, you're overreacting." Or "Other people have it worse." While these responses may seem innocuous on the surface, they carry a harmful undertone. They suggest that your pain is insignificant and unworthy of attention. Over time, such dismissals can lead to feelings of isolation, as if your emotions don't matter or are a burden to others. Beyond struggles, dismissive people also undermine your achievements. Imagine sharing a personal victory, something that took effort, perseverance, and courage, only to have it met with indifference or a dismissive remark like, "Well, it's not that impressive," or "Anyone could have done that." These comments strip the moment of its significance, reducing your hard-earned accomplishments to something trivial. Such reactions reveal envy, insecurity, or simply a lack of genuine happiness for your success. When someone cannot celebrate your victories, it often stems from an inability to care about your growth or joy. This behavior creates a toxic dynamic in which you may begin to doubt yourself. When your struggles are minimized and your achievements are dismissed, it becomes difficult to feel confident in your own narrative. You may start to internalize the belief that your experiences are unimportant or that you're being overly sensitive for expecting acknowledgement. This self-doubt can erode your sense of self-worth, making it even harder to assert your needs in the future. Dismissing your experiences is not merely an oversight, it's a reflection of their unwillingness to connect with you on a deeper level. A person who cares about you values your perspective and respects the emotions tied to your experiences. They offer empathy, validation, and encouragement, even when they may not fully understand what you're going through. Conversely, those who dismiss you do the opposite. They create a barrier, distancing themselves emotionally and reinforcing a sense of detachment that can leave you feeling unseen and unheard. Taking without giving is one of the most revealing behaviors of someone who doesn't truly care about you. Relationships, whether friendships, familial bonds, or romantic connections, thrive on reciprocity. They are built on mutual respect, shared effort, and a balance of give and take. However, when someone continuously takes from you without offering anything in return, whether it's time, emotional support, or tangible help, it becomes clear that their concern lies not with you, but with how they can benefit from your presence. Takers often operate in a way that feels natural, almost calculated. They have an uncanny ability to identify your generosity and willingness to help, exploiting these qualities to their advantage. This could involve constantly seeking your advice or assistance without ever reciprocating, expecting you to adjust your schedule to accommodate their needs, or leaning on you in times of crisis while disappearing when you need them. Over time, this one-sided dynamic can leave you emotionally drained, feeling like a resource rather than a valued individual. One of the most damaging aspects of this behavior is the emotional toll it takes. At first, you may give willingly, driven by a sense of kindness or a desire to help someone you care about. But as the pattern repeats, you begin to notice the lack of reciprocity. The person doesn't offer to lighten your load, acknowledge your efforts, or show gratitude for the support you've provided. This imbalance can lead to feelings of resentment and exhaustion, as you realize that the relationship is built on a foundation of taking rather than mutual care. The taker's lack of care is further evident in their disregard for boundaries. They often overstep, asking for more than is reasonable or appropriate, and may even guilt you into compliance when you hesitate. Phrases like "I thought you'd want to help," or "you're the only one I can count on," are common tactics used to manipulate you into giving more. This lack of respect for your limits reveals their self-centered nature and their inability to see you as a person with your own needs and boundaries. Another hallmark of takers is their unwillingness to invest in the relationship beyond what benefits them. They rarely show up for you in meaningful ways. Whether it's celebrating your successes, offering support during tough times, or simply being present when you need someone to lean on, they are conspicuously absent. Their focus remains on extracting what they can from you, rather than contributing to a healthy, balanced connection. This behavior can also extend beyond emotional dynamics to material or practical matters. A taker might constantly borrow money without repaying, expect favors without returning them, or lean on your skills and resources without offering anything of value in exchange. This further underscores their lack of consideration for your well-being and their inability to view the relationship as a partnership. Ultimately, taking without giving is not just an act of selfishness, it's a reflection of a deeper disregard for the relationship and for you as an individual. It diminishes the connection to one of convenience for the taker, leaving you to shoulder the emotional and practical weight of a relationship that was never truly mutual. Recognizing this pattern is crucial, as it highlights the need to reevaluate such one-sided dynamics for your own emotional health and sense of self-worth. The absence of someone in times of need is a profound indicator of their lack of genuine care. When people care about you, they show up whether physically, emotionally, or both when you face challenges or difficulties. Their presence is not just a gesture, it's an expression of solidarity and support. On the other hand, when someone consistently fails to be there for you during critical moments, it reveals an unsettling truth: your well-being is not their priority. Times of need often strip away superficial layers in relationships, revealing their true depth. It's easy for someone to be present when things are going well, when there's laughter, celebration, or personal gain. However, the real test of any relationship comes during moments of hardship. Whether you're navigating grief, a health crisis, financial struggles, or emotional turmoil, these are the times when genuine care becomes evident. If someone repeatedly disappears during such moments, offering excuses, silence, or avoidance, their actions or lack thereof speak louder than any words they might use to justify their absence. This behavior is often cloaked in subtlety. They may claim they're too busy, unable to handle the situation, or unsure of what to do. While these reasons might occasionally hold validity, a pattern of absence points to deeper indifference. Caring individuals, even when unsure of how to help, will make an effort. They will reach out, listen, or simply offer their presence, even if it's imperfect. Those who don't care, however, will distance themselves, leaving you to face your struggles alone. This absence is not just about physical unavailability, it extends to emotional neglect. Someone who doesn't care may fail to acknowledge your pain or dismiss it as insignificant. They might downplay the severity of your situation, offer platitudes instead of meaningful support, or change the subject altogether. This emotional detachment leaves you feeling isolated, as if your challenges are unworthy of their attention or concern. Moreover, the absence of care during tough times can create a damaging imbalance in the relationship. It forces you to shoulder the burden alone, while they continue to benefit from the relationship in other areas. This one-sided dynamic breeds resentment and can make you question the value of the connection. Over time, their consistent absence sends a clear message they prioritize their comfort over your well-being, avoiding situations that might inconvenience or challenge them. Another layer of this behavior is the avoidance of accountability. When confronted about their absence, these individuals often deflect or offer hollow apologies without real change. They might say things like, "I didn't think you needed me," or "I assumed you'd handle it on your own." These responses not only invalidate your feelings, but also shift the blame onto you, further highlighting their unwillingness to take responsibility for their lack of support. Recognizing this pattern is crucial because it reveals the true nature of the relationship. People who care about you make an effort to be present, even when it's inconvenient or uncomfortable. Their support is not about perfection, but about intention. Conversely, those who are absent in your times of need demonstrate a lack of investment in your well-being, leaving you to navigate life's challenges without the backing of someone you should be able to trust. Exploitative behavior is a glaring sign of someone who doesn't truly care about you. At its core, exploitation is the act of using someone for personal gain without regard for their well-being or boundaries. It is a manipulative and self-serving behavior that reduces the relationship to a transaction, where the person views you not as a partner, friend, or equal, but as a means to an end. This behavior reflects a deep disregard for your value as a person and prioritizes their needs over any sense of fairness, mutual respect, or empathy. Exploitation often starts subtly, making it difficult to identify at first. It may begin with small favors or requests that seem harmless. Over time, however, these requests become increasingly frequent, demanding, or one-sided. For instance, someone may habitually rely on you to handle tasks, solve their problems, or provide resources while offering little or nothing in return. Their focus remains on what they can extract from you, rather than how they can contribute to a balanced, mutually supportive relationship. This behavior also reveals itself in the way they approach opportunities and interactions. An exploitative person will often mask their intentions under the guise of friendship or connection, making their requests seem reasonable or even flattering. They may say things like, "You're the only one who can help me," or "I trust you to handle this," to appeal to your sense of responsibility or loyalty. This manipulative approach exploits your goodwill and emotional investment, making it harder for you to recognize or resist their self-serving actions. Another hallmark of exploitation is the lack of genuine interest or effort in the relationship beyond what benefits them. They may engage with you only when they need something, disappearing when your needs or challenges arise. Their presence is transactional. They show up to take what they need and vanish when there's no immediate advantage to be gained. Over time, this creates a pattern where you feel used rather than valued, as their actions consistently demonstrate that your worth is tied solely to what you can provide. Exploitation often comes with a disregard for your boundaries. Exploitative individuals may pressure you into saying yes to things you're uncomfortable with or guilt you into compliance. They might dismiss your attempts to assert boundaries, framing your reluctance as selfishness or a lack of commitment to the relationship. This blatant disregard for your limits further highlights their self-centered nature, as they prioritize their desires over your well-being. Emotionally, being on the receiving end of exploitation can leave you feeling drained, unappreciated, and disrespected. It diminishes your sense of self-worth, as the constant imbalance in the relationship reinforces the idea that your value is tied solely to your utility. Additionally, exploitative behavior often fosters resentment and mistrust, eroding the foundation of the relationship and making it increasingly difficult to maintain a sense of connection or mutual respect. Recognizing exploitation is essential for protecting yourself and maintaining your emotional health. While relationships naturally involve moments of give and take, a consistent pattern of one-sided benefit at your expense is a clear indication of exploitation. True care in a relationship involves mutual support, respect, and consideration, not the relentless pursuit of personal gain at another's cost. Constant criticism is a destructive behavior that reveals a lack of genuine care and respect in a relationship. When someone frequently focuses on your flaws, shortcomings, or decisions with little regard for how it impacts you, it reflects a deeper issue, an unwillingness to value you for who you are. While constructive feedback can be healthy and helpful, constant criticism is different. It's often unbalanced, harsh, and dismissive, aimed more at tearing you down than building you up. At its core, criticism of this nature is about control or superiority. The person may belittle your choices, dismiss your achievements, or highlight your mistakes in ways that feel demeaning rather than supportive. They might say things like, "Why would you do it that way?" or "You'll never get it right," often with an air of exasperation or judgment. This behavior isn't intended to help you grow, but rather to establish a power dynamic where they can feel superior or dominant. Constant criticism also has a cumulative effect on your self-esteem. Over time, hearing persistent negative comments can lead you to question your abilities, decisions, and even your worth. You may start to feel as though nothing you do is good enough, that every effort you make will be scrutinized or undervalued. This can create a cycle of self-doubt and insecurity, where you hesitate to express yourself, make decisions, or pursue goals out of fear of further judgment. What makes this behavior particularly harmful is its insidiousness. It often starts subtly, with occasional remarks that seem innocuous or even well-meaning. But as it becomes a pattern, the tone shifts, and the criticism becomes more pointed and relentless. Over time, it can feel like you're walking on eggshells, constantly trying to avoid triggering yet another round of judgment. This emotional toll can leave you feeling isolated and unsupported, as though you're navigating the relationship on uneven footing. Criticism also has a way of undermining trust and connection. When someone cares about you, they approach disagreements or concerns with empathy and understanding. They consider your feelings and seek solutions that strengthen the relationship. Constant critics, on the other hand, prioritize their own perspectives, often disregarding how their words or actions affect you. This creates an emotional barrier, making it difficult to feel safe or valued in the relationship. This behavior can also manifest as an attempt to shift blame or deflect attention from their own shortcomings. By focusing on your perceived faults, they avoid taking accountability for their actions or addressing their own flaws. This lack of self-awareness further highlights their unwillingness to engage in a relationship based on mutual respect and growth. Ultimately, constant criticism reveals a lack of genuine care because it prioritizes judgment over support. It's a behavior rooted in selfishness, insecurity, or a desire for control, and it erodes the foundation of trust, respect, and empathy that a healthy relationship requires. Recognizing this pattern is essential to protecting your emotional well-being and ensuring that you surround yourself with individuals who uplift and value you for who you are. Lack of acknowledgement in a relationship is a silent yet potent indicator that someone doesn't truly care about you. Acknowledgement is a fundamental aspect of human connection. It validates your existence, emotions, and contributions, making you feel seen and appreciated. When someone consistently fails to recognize your efforts, feelings, or presence, it sends a clear message that they do not value you or the relationship. This behavior often manifests in subtle ways. Perhaps you share good news or an achievement, only to be met with indifference or a dismissive comment. You might go out of your way to help or support them, yet they fail to express gratitude or even acknowledge your efforts. Over time, this lack of recognition can leave you feeling invisible, as though your contributions and experiences hold no significance to them. This emotional neglect creates a one-sided dynamic where you're giving but not receiving even the most basic validation in return. Lack of acknowledgement also extends to emotional experiences. When you express your feelings, whether joy, sadness, frustration, or excitement, a caring person takes the time to engage, listen, and respond meaningfully. Someone who doesn't care, however, may gloss over your emotions, dismiss them, or fail to respond at all. This lack of engagement can leave you feeling unsupported and emotionally disconnected, as though your inner world is unworthy of their attention. In a healthy relationship, acknowledgement serves as a bridge of connection. It shows that the other person is paying attention, values your presence, and is invested in the relationship. When this element is missing, the connection begins to fray. You might start to question whether you matter to them or whether your role in their life is purely incidental. This uncertainty can create feelings of loneliness and rejection, even in their presence. One of the most damaging aspects of this behavior is its impact on your self-esteem. When someone consistently fails to acknowledge you, it can lead to self-doubt. You might begin to wonder if your efforts are inadequate or if there's something inherently wrong with you. This internalization of their disregard can erode your confidence and make it difficult to assert your needs or expectations in the relationship. What makes this behavior particularly revealing is its consistency. While everyone has moments of distraction or oversight, a pattern of neglecting to acknowledge you reflects a deeper lack of care. Acknowledgement requires effort, attentiveness, and a willingness to engage, qualities that come naturally when someone values the relationship. When these are absent, it highlights their indifference and unwillingness to invest in the connection. This lack of acknowledgement often goes hand in hand with self-centeredness. The person may be preoccupied with their own needs, achievements, or experiences, leaving little room to recognize or celebrate yours. Their focus remains inward, making it clear that they see the relationship as something that serves them rather than a mutual bond built on reciprocity and respect. Ultimately, failing to acknowledge someone is a passive yet powerful form of dismissal. It diminishes the significance of the relationship and undermines the sense of connection, leaving you to feel unseen, undervalued, and unimportant. Recognizing this behavior is crucial to understanding the dynamics at play and determining whether the relationship aligns with the respect and care you deserve. In the end, the behaviors of those who don't truly care about you serve as powerful reminders of the importance of self-worth and boundaries. Life is too precious to be spent in the shadow of those who dismiss your experiences, take without giving, criticize without compassion, or fail to be present when you need them most. Genuine relationships are built on mutual respect, empathy, and reciprocity. They elevate you, nurture you, and remind you that you are valued. Recognizing these toxic behaviors isn't about casting blame, it's about choosing to surround yourself with people who see you, support you, and cherish your presence in their lives. Let these realizations empower you to protect your heart, prioritize your peace, and embrace the relationships that truly deserve you.